The mystery of Enoch, the man who never died. The history of Enoch is one of the most fascinating mysteries found in ancient texts, especially in the Bible. According to the Bible, Enoch is a man who never experienced death. The brief yet intriguing mention of his life in the scriptures has led to numerous interpretations, both within and outside religious contexts. We seek to explore the mystery of Enoch. Who was this man? What does it mean that he did not die? And what implications does his story have for religious and philosophical thought? Enoch appears in the Old Testament, specifically in the book of Genesis. In Genesis, chapter 5, verses 21 to 24, we are presented with a summary of his life that, although brief, is filled with meaning. The text says, Enoch lived 65 years and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God, after he begot Methuselah, 300 years, and begot sons and daughters. So, all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. This passage, which seems straightforward at first glance, has been interpreted in various ways. The phrase, walked with God, is particularly enigmatic. For some, this indicates that Enoch had a special relationship with God, a life of deep spiritual communion that allowed him to avoid physical death. But what does this communion really mean? How can a person, according to the Bible, disappear without experiencing death? It is important to contextualize Enoch's story within the framework of ancient beliefs. In antiquity, death was seen as an inevitable part of human life, a consequence of original sin according to Judeo-Christian tradition. However, Enoch seems to be an exception to this rule. The idea that a human being could be taken by God without going through earthly death was revolutionary and has sparked endless theories. Some theologians argue that Enoch was raptured to heaven in body and soul, implying a divine transformation that allowed him to escape mortality. This theory is based on the idea that death is a punishment, and that those who walk in perfect harmony with God may be redeemed even from the experience of death. The Book of Enoch, an apocryphal text attributed to this figure, delves further into his character and teachings. Although it is not accepted within the canon of the Hebrew Bible or most Christian traditions, this book offers a fascinating view of Enoch as a prophet and visionary. According to this text, Enoch was taken to heaven, where he received revelations about the mysteries of the universe, the nature of the fallen angels, and the ultimate fate of humanity. This account presents Enoch not only as a pious man but as an intermediary between the divine and the human, someone who possesses special knowledge revealed directly by God. His ascent to heaven, described in almost mystical terms, makes him a figure of great relevance in esoteric tradition. In Judaism, Enoch also holds a special role. Ancient rabbis discussed his fate and unique nature. In the Talmud and other rabbinic texts, there are hints that Enoch may have been transformed into an angel, known as Metatron, a powerful celestial figure who serves as an intermediary between God and humans. This interpretation has influenced various mystical currents, such as Kabbalah, where Metatron is seen as a guardian of divine secrets. According to this tradition, Enoch was not only taken to heaven but underwent such a profound spiritual transformation that he became a different entity, someone no longer bound by the limitations of human existence. However, not all interpreters view Enoch's story in such a mystical way. Some modern theologians suggest that Enoch's disappearance could be a metaphor or an allegory. Instead of interpreting the account literally, they propose that Enoch's walking with God symbolizes a life of righteousness and obedience, and that his rapture represents the reward for a pious existence. In this reading, Enoch is not necessarily someone who avoided physical death, but a moral example of how humans should live in harmony with divine precepts. This approach is interesting because it opens the door to a more ethical interpretation of the story, rather than focusing solely on the supernatural. In Christian tradition, Enoch also plays an important role. In the New Testament, specifically in the Book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 5, Enoch is referred to as an example of faith. By faith, Enoch was taken so that he would not see death, and he was not found, because God had taken him. For before he was taken, he had this testimony, that he pleased God. This passage reinforces the idea that Enoch's relationship with God was unique and that his destiny was a direct result of his unwavering faith. Enoch is seen as a precursor to resurrection and eternal life, central concepts in Christian theology. His transfer to heaven without experiencing death is a sign of the promise of eternal life for those who follow the path of faith. Additionally, Enoch's figure has influenced the development of apocalyptic ideas in early Christian tradition. Many apocryphal writings and Gnostic texts refer to Enoch as someone who had access to secret knowledge about the end times and divine judgment. This connection between Enoch and eschatology has captured the imagination of generations of believers, who see in his figure a guide to the final revelation of the mysteries of the universe. In this sense, Enoch is not only a pious man but a messenger of cosmic truths that transcend time and space. Finally, it is important to recognize that the story of Enoch has been a source of inspiration not only for the Abrahamic religions but also for other belief systems. In various mystical and esoteric traditions, Enoch is seen as a spiritual master, someone who achieved enlightenment or union with the divine. His story has resonated throughout the centuries, and his mystery continues to attract those who seek to understand the secrets of life, death, and what lies beyond. The mystery of Enoch remains one of the most enduring enigmas of antiquity. Whether we see him as a man who never died, as a prophet who accessed celestial knowledge, or as a symbol of faith and righteousness, his story has a profound impact on our understanding of the divine. Enoch's life and fate invite us to reflect on the great questions of human existence. What does it mean to walk with God? Is it possible to transcend death? And what mysteries await us beyond this earthly world? As we continue to seek answers to these questions, the enigma of Enoch will continue to fascinate and challenge our minds and hearts. Thank you for watching our video. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Give it a like, comment your thoughts, and share this video with your friends and family.